Alright guys, good morning. Little bit of prep work before we start barbecuing for the last chance cook-off. So, fresh out of bed. We'll talk about what I'm doing in a minute, but I need to prepare the cedar plank ready. So what I'm doing is something a little bit different. I'm using some coconut water. I need to get it all over because that's going to sit like that. And some boiling water. Warm water helps it soak up a bit quicker. So there we are. And a little bit of weight on top. Yeah, just sinking. Let's put a bit more in. Ooh, love the smell of that coconut. Oh, I'm back in a few hours, guys. Okay then, let's get the barbie ready. Don't need the plate. In fact, you shouldn't use the plate with the lid down anyway. So that's out of the way. And we're doing indirect cooking, so we'll put the grill in the middle. There we are. Just a quick look at the barbie before we start, guys. I've had this one quite a few years now. It's one of the it's the Australian type. Come with a flat grill. It didn't come with a hood. And believe it or not, to buy the hood, the lid, it was nearly as much as the whole barbecue. Yeah, typical setup. 3 gas burners, one for the plate I've just taken out. But what I've done, I've changed the lava rock for these things. Let's pick one up. These are called hot rocks, or various types of name, pen rocks. What they are, they're compressed slate with wood and charcoal all in with them, almost ceramic, and they do stop a lot of flare up because the fat sort of just drips off them. You know what I mean? Doesn't soak into the rock. I find them pretty good. Well, those quite a few years now as well. Right then, let's go and do some cooking. Well, here we are then. I've finally got round to preparing and cooking my entry is the wrong word, my recipe for the last chance cook-off. What's the last chance cook-off, you're asking? Well, it's a collaboration of 90 to 100 channels, all doing a recipe for the end of the barbecue season. And the last chance cook-off collaborations hosted by Kettle Kitchen, Hendricks Family Farm and 9 Acre Family Farm. I feel a bit small here in my little tiny back garden with all these farms in the titles. What I'm going to do, I'll put a link to the playlist in the description. If I put all the channels in the description, it'll just be loads of words, you know. So I'll put the playlist in there. You can click on the playlist, go and look at the videos. Maybe too late in the UK for some of them, but they'll be there for next year. So here we go, guys. Okay then, my recipe is a cedar plank salmon with a Caribbean citrusy rub, all topped up with Japanese mayonnaise. So the first thing to do is to make the rub. Here we are, I'm going to do it direct into a jug because it's going to be easier to pour. So we'll go through the ingredients one at a time. Muscovado sugar. Now you can use demerara sugar, but really you want the muscovado for its molasses. Molasses cooks well. Demerara has had the molasses taken out basically, and it's more of a dressing type sugar for baking. So 3 tablespoons of this. It's all rough and ready. Don't want any plastic in it, do you? Yeah, it's all rough and ready. All approximations like most of my cooking. And when I finish with it, I'm going to put it out of the way so I don't use it twice. Right, the only thing that is 1 teaspoon is ginger powder. Going to bring a nice bit of, little bit of heat to it, only a little bit, we don't want much. But it's not hot heat, it's not chilli type heat, it's a tasty heat. So there's your ginger, and the rest is all 1 tablespoon. It's probably going to be far too much for the 1 piece of salmon I'm doing, but it keeps it simple, doing it whole numbers, you know what I mean? Now, if you were doing a proper recipe, that's the wrong words. If you were doing a recipe that called for fairly accurate measures, you never ever pour your ingredients over the container. You always do it off to the side, because if you slip with the salt, you suddenly put far too much in. You can always add more. It's very difficult to take it out. Something I learned the hard way, by the way. So I got 1 tablespoon of sea salt. This is coarse sea salt. Give it a nice bit of crunch on the top. 1 tablespoon of ground coriander. Ooh, I say roughly. I've got to put these over here because I will use them twice. I know what I'm like. Right, 1 tablespoon of allspice, and this is brand new because my last one was finished the other day. This is what gives it a bit of the old Caribbean-y taste as well. And I'm going to put the liquids in last. Oh, I love the smell of that. Don't be confused with allspice. Allspice isn't ground spice. Allspice is its own spice, and I can't remember the tree it's from now. A lot of people think allspice is all spices added together. It's not. It's a unique spice. Onion salt. Now it may seem like there's a lot of salts in this, but that one's a bit. Onion salt adds a bit of flavour, a bit of onion without putting onion in, really. There we are. And the same with garlic salt, if I can find it. There we are. These do tend to settle a bit, these. They need breaking up now and again. Like that, look. See, it's gone quite hard, that. And this is a new one. Yeah, best before June 24. So that's a bit weird, isn't it? Let's see what we got. Oh, that's enough. Last one for the dry ingredients, I think, is pepper. Now, you can use fresh ground pepper. People say it's better with fresh ground, there's more oils, essential oils, blah, blah, blah. But it's going on a 400-degree Fahrenheit barbecue, for heaven's sake, you know what I mean? So I'm using, it's ground pepper, but it's been ground previously. So, oh, there we are. That's a lot, isn't it? Cool. Right, now the wet ingredients. Let me just check my list because I know what I'm like. I was going to show you sea salt, pepper, salt, allspice, coriander, ginger. Yeah, that's it. Right. Depending on how much liquid goes in, I'm going to use 1 lemon, 1 lime, and half an orange, but I may up it to 1 whole orange. So we want the zest and the juice of the first lot. I'm using a microplaner for this. I don't want great big pieces of zest, I want little pieces. Right. I think the easiest way is to do it like that, isn't it? Pull it towards me, that'd be easiest. You gotta be careful with these microplane. You slide and you cut your finger on it. Probably not the ideal implement for this, but I want tiny little pieces of zest. I don't want great big long stringy bits. I don't get too much of the white pith in. It's more for baking really, but the pith isn't very nice. You don't want to take the pith, you know what I mean? A lot of people get really, you know, up their own about ingredients. Put less in. If you want more, put more in. If you put too much in, well, remember next time not to put too much in. That's how I think of it. So, yes, I knew the orange would be the easiest. That'll do. Finish with that. This is a handy one for juicing your fruit. It's an OXO one, and it comes with 2 different routers, if you like. Call them routers, don't they? So, small one for lemons and limes. Catches all the bits as well, so you haven't got to go digging. When you're doing this, it's a good way to find any little cuts you got on your fingers. Let's see how we go. Just plonk that on top, look. Somehow, there we go. Right, let's pour that in, give it a mix up and see what we got, eh? Yeah, that's plenty. If anything, it might be a bit too much liquid, but doesn't matter because it's going to soak in a lot. Okay guys, well that's that bit. Let's have a quick clear up and we get the salmon out. Okay then, bring on the star of the show. Salmon. You would not believe the trouble I've had getting this. There are no fishmongers anymore. There's no shops you can go to, not locally. I mean, all right, 10 miles, 15 miles away. May not sound a lot to some, but it's quite a way when you're without a car for a while. I was without a car for a week anyway. Long story, but it's sorted now. So, and what it is, what I did, I got the salmon from a travelling fishmonger, and they couldn't make it to where they arranged to meet me, so they delivered it to my house. What a fantastic service. So, oh, lovely, look at that. Right then. Now what I want to do is take the skin off, because I don't want this little fatty layer underneath. This isn't too bad actually, this is obviously a wild salmon. But if you get a farm salmon, that layer of pink in there can be quite big. So let's get that over like that. I'm going to cut this piece off here because that's going to be a little bit thin on the Barbie. And it looks like I need to sharpen my knife first of all, so here we go then. Ooh. Right, let's do that. Good sharpener this. It sharpens three ways. You can, no, I got to remember which way's which now. You can put a rough edge on it. You can hone it, you can polish it, and you can hone it. There we are. So it's obviously quite sharp, doesn't need a lot. Let's take the filings off. And what we're going to do, let's get this in so we can do it. Right. Going to lose a tiny little bit off the end. Like that, a little bit more. Start it off. Let's get that like that. Bit of salt on my fingers to hold it because it's a bit slippery fish, as you know. That's better. And then what we do is slip the knife flat onto the table. And once we get going, it's not an ideal filleting knife this, but it's all I've got to hand, so. And then we grab the skin and just pull it towards you as you're wiggling the fillet. Wasting a little bit here because it's the wrong knife, but it's getting deeper as I'm going. There we go. At least I got all the fat off, which is what I wanted. Okay, getting there. Fish ready, board ready, rub ready. It's a little bit thin actually. Oh, it's getting thicker. It's getting thicker as the sugar dissolves properly. That's good. So let's marry them all together, eh? There's my weight. Now, what I've done, I've used boiling water and coconut water, as you saw. Normally just warm water would do, but it's a Caribbean dish. I want a bit of coconut in it. Okay then guys, on with the rub. Ooh. There's a bit going on the plank, doesn't matter. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that now for as long as it takes the Barbie to warm up. Okay then, on with the Barbie. Gas on. Now we're just going to light the outside two burners. There's one. There's two. Right, and so the middle's cold. And for those of you who are concerned of temperatures, we'll be going up to about 400 Fahrenheit. That's 200 Celsius in real money. Okay, I covered this up just because I'm outside. I don't want any flies getting on it. So I don't need that anymore. Right, Barbie's up to temperature. Just one last ingredient now, and that is Japanese mayonnaise. I don't know if you've seen this. It's called Kewpie. Kewpie mayonnaise. It's got more egg in it and more vinegar than normal mayonnaise. It's very much like a British salad cream, to tell you the truth. And it's great for cooking with. It's great for putting on chips as well. But so I'm just going to put a bit on top. And then just gently rub it in. I don't want too much because the Caribbean bit is what I'm after. I'm only going to rub it in lightly. I'm not really rubbing it in, I'm just covering the salmon with it. There we are. And a lot of this is going to run off. Okay. Let's get a bit of that juice off the plank. There we go. Right then. Now I'm thinking about an inch thick, and I'm thinking 15 minutes per inch. Let's get that roughly in the centre, thickest bit at the back. I'll come back and check on it in 10 minutes. And we're up about 450, so I've turned the heat down just a fraction. Right, just going to knock up a quick salad, green, yellow, red for the Jamaican flag. While we're having a chat, you can do the salmon on a direct heat. But I prefer to use direct heat when you've only got a few ingredients, like a dry rub, for example. Salt, pepper, dill and lemon, you know what I mean? So, I'm using indirect heat anyway, so. Just a quick salad. All out my own garden, these. Oh, yeah, daft not to. Banana pepper. Oh, I love that. And some tumbler tomatoes from the bush behind me. You don't want to lift the lid of the Barbie too often because it'll the heat will go and the smoke will go. But now, because I'm using indirect, there's not going to be that much smoke. We're not getting a lot of smoke from the cedar. If we're doing direct, we would, and I wouldn't touch the lid at all. I'd leave it. So I was going to have a look, have a quick look myself, and then back in a bit. Okay, guys, that's been 15 minutes or so. It's not too smoky, but I reckon, yeah, that's looking pretty cooked. So here we go then. Everything off. Let's get over to the table. Now I'm going to use a tea towel for this. Oh, sugar. Let's grab the hot end with the tongs. Oh, that's alright, it's not too warm. Ooh, look at that. Well, you can see how quickly the sun moves over my house, guys. Right, look at this. Ooh. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a chunk off. And show you that. Right, that's for me. And what we'll do, we just have a little nibble. That is taking me right back. Barbecue on the seafront on Tortola. Oh, that is beautiful. Yeah. Good bit of fish as well. And the coating is just right. The rub is just right. Got the egg. Got a little bit of vinegar. And we've got all the spices. That is perfect. Ooh. Yeah, and not too much mess coming off the plank. You see a lot of these channels say, whatever you do, don't put the plank on the table, blah, blah, blah. That is good. I'll tell you what, that is quite possibly the best fish dish I've ever done on a barbecue. I am chuffed to bits. Right guys, hope you've enjoyed this. Oh, I tell you what, I certainly have. And the collaboration itself, there's been some cracking recipes there, so check the link, the playlist link in my description below, and take care. Look after yourselves, and I'll catch you on the next recipe. Meanwhile,